The iMAXX podcast.
Yeah.
I'm ready for war.
Turn it up, Gino.
Look, hear a lot of talk on my name. Just a few peasants trying to kill the king. Look, I make my own way. All eyes on me. Got that target on my back. Better be careful. I'm about to attack. Never looking back. Middle child, been crazy. Can't let that chitter chatter face me. Gotta change the world. Gotta be amazing. Clear my mind. No longer hazy. Only seeking greatness. Yeah. Look. Who on this level? Eye to eye with the devil. Need God by my side. Buckle up for this ride.
I think we are good on the music. So that was actually my last release, Ready for War. I dropped it back in December 23rd.
It's a nice tune.
Just a
tune.
Christmas present for everybody, whoever listens out there in the universe. All right, so today we are shooting episode number 3 with Alejandro Lopez, and it's X-Zela is his rapper name.
Yes, sir.
And so I guess my first question to start off with is, how did you get your rap name? How did you come up with that?
So it's a funny story. Back in middle school, high school, we had gamer tags, to play online. And all our friends thought we were creative by having our gamer tag be our name backwards, right? So in elementary school, I told the teacher, hey, my name is Alejandro. She said, that's too long. You're going to go by Alex. Okay, we'll go by Alex. So throughout school, that was just what I went by, Alex. And then gamer tag, Alex backwards was X-Zela, however you want to do it. Years passed by, started making music. I decided to add a Z on it for the Z in my last name, for Lopez. Thought it was clever.
So if anyone's trying to look you up, how do you spell that?
So that would be X dash ZELA. So yeah, that's the name for my rap alias. I really would like to do something with my actual name Alejandro, but I'm working on that. Same thing as releasing music. It's a process, and I'm trying to really be certain about, and the name is a huge thing, because if people can't say your name, as we had this issue, it's very difficult to get that to catch on. So that's an issue I've had in the musical chasing, and my aspirations about it is I'm realizing that's one of the things is people ask me, how do you say your name? What's your name? And it needs to be clear and concise, like yours, iMAXX, simple. But it hits, and it looks good on that little back wall you got back there.
Hell yeah. Fun fact about the sign, that was my Christmas gift this year for my wife. And whenever she gave me that gift, I knew it was time to start the podcast. So kind of a sign there.
Yeah, and it's a nice sign.
So what type of music do you make? What kind of genre do you feel like you're in, and kind of go in on that?
Well, you can say that I do a lot of bilingual, Spanish and English, hip-hop. I like to dip my toes in. It's really what the beat is asking for. If the beat is poppy, if the beat is boom bap, if the beat is reggaeton or whatever, I feel like I am versatile enough to give that beat what it's asking for, in a sense. So what genre I prefer, it's definitely, I like to just spit. If there's a beat that really hits me, that I really like, just hard rap lyricist type.
So more on like the rap side, not
more
really
on like
the
R&B.
R&B.
Yeah, but when there's a beat that's beautiful enough and it's like hip hoppy and like a love song, I feel like nothing beats a good love song. Like if something slaps and it's love related about a girl and people can relate to that and it's catchy. So what my favorite thing to do is rap, but what I think I'm best at is throwing some melodies in there and mixing it with, a 16, coming back with a nice little hook. But English and Spanish, I like to do a bilingual kind of vibe to it.
I feel like that definitely gives you an advantage, because you can get a whole different fan base, because you're getting the two languages mixed in there, and definitely get some range out there with potential fans and everything. Sure. So in your creative process, do you have like a process that you go through?
I do.
How has it changed? Like when you first started making music, for like the artists that might be listening to this out there, how was it like when you first started creating music, and when did you start creating music?
So it all started in high school rap battles. There was a couple fellas that they would boast about how they can rap and they can out rap people. And one day we were in class, and my teacher had told me that I was pretty good at poetry. Right? In English classes you do some writing, and she said that was a strength I had that I should probably look into. I thought of it as like poetry, that's not something that's cool. And then it became a thing where there was rap battles, and yeah, I did pretty well in them. And my friends started saying, "Hey, man, you should try to rap." I didn't take it serious until probably after high school. Started putting on headphones. You get listen to a beat, and I sat down with my notebook, started writing down whatever comes to me. And that's a huge block that people have when they start out. They're like, "How do you write music?" You have to get in there, man. You have to go fishing. You have to throw your.
I remember whenever I was first starting to make raps and lyrics, like really starting to get serious about it. I had a notebook, and I would look up I would think of a word, and then I'd go to rhymezone.com.
Yeah.
And I would put that word in, and then if it had 100 rhymes, I would write every single word that the website had over, and I'd try to do it 2 or 3 times so that I could get those rhymes ingrained in my mind, because I always wanted to be really good at freestyling.
Yes.
And so, like, you got to have those words ready, and you got to take that time to really get all those words ingrained in your mind so that whenever you need to use them, you already got them on spot whenever you're trying to freestyle. But that's one thing I really enjoyed, which I guess I don't really do that much anymore. That was mostly when I was first starting out. So
you were in the playground, right?
I had a lot of notebooks. We'll tell a story maybe in a minute.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I ended up getting rid of all my notebooks.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to hear that story later on. But yeah, I have a few notebooks that I really hope I don't lose or nothing, because I have a lot of stuff that throughout the years since I was like 17 I've just been tweaking, working out. And
so when was that when you were starting out?
Right, I want to say it was right after high school. I got approached by this guy that used to freestyle with me in French class, and he started making music. He said, "Hey man, you should come out to the studio in the shed." He had a little shed outside of his parents' place. Kalijah, shout out Kalijah. And he was like, "Man, just try to hop in." I went home. He sent me the beat to work on, and that's when I just started writing, and I came back to the shed, and he was like, "All right, what you got?" And he was just like, "Dude, we have to record this right now." Right? So he kind of lost his way in music. I don't know if he still does it or not, but he definitely had a passion for it, and I could see that, and that's something that it's inspiring when you see another person trying to chase a similar goal that you have, the same field, So it started there. Right after high school.
What year was that around?
Probably about 2015 is when I really started. I want to say it's when I started, because that's when I started
getting serious about
putting down things in the notebook.
So almost 10 years you've been making music now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't even have a song out. So
I want to ask you about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But kind of staying on that topic. So you first start out, you're writing a lot.
Yeah,
you're listening to lyrics. You're going to some studios, recording.
Mm-hmm.
How has that process evolved to what you're going in the studio now today, thinking about, and what's your process? Kind of what's the progression of it to what you're going to now?
Well, right now I feel like I'm working alongside a couple of fellas who are, I want to say, are already on the good foot. They're already releasing projects. They're already have songs out. Have done shows performing actual songs that are recorded, and and I tag along and do shows with them. And I'm kind of doing instrumentals and doing acapellas and doing freestyles. And
so is it true on your? I was there the first night that you did a performance.
Yes.
Is it true that you had no vocals in the background? It was just a straight freestyle.
Yeah.
So the first time you go out on stage, you have no vocal backup or nothing. You're just going out.
No, I had to take the opportunity. I mean, these guys at the Chano and V-Flow, they were telling me, "Hey man, come out with us." I had no idea what to expect until I see everybody there, and everyone has a backtrack, everyone has vocals, And then that's when I realized that I'm in for something special here.
So when was that first performance?
It was, I can't tell you when it was. It was at the Odd, though, I can tell you that. And it was for like an open mic.
Last year, right?
Last year, around
So
last
9
year.
years. 9 years.
Yeah.
It took you 9 years.
Well, that technically, I had a slight little show with Christopher the General. He set something up in Asheville back when I was like 21, 22. So I want to say that was what, 4 years ago. And we did like 10, 15 minutes. And I went off script because we had songs, and then the beat kept playing, and everyone was kind of like, "What's going on?" And the DJ, he couldn't get, for something happened, and so I just freestyled. I kind of went off on that for like 2 minutes, and then the DJ kind of let me go off. So that was the first real experience of being on stage and seeing people looking at you, and that tripped me out at first because everyone's just like, you got all these eyeballs on you now.
Was that time? Did you also go on with instrumentals?
No, that time. No, actually, yeah, it was instrumentals. He put the beat in the back, and then we just kind of went over what we had.
And I do want to get back to the creative process in just a second,
course.
but right here I have some questions. So whenever you're going up there, like I know my first show I ever did, like the butterflies are all rolling.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely screwed up in the verse 2 or 3 times, but I definitely went out there with with vocals in my instrumental so that that if I've screwed up, at least like the
something to rely on.
Yeah. And so like just with that pressure the first time, and still even I get a little bit of butterflies now, and I'll catch myself messing up here and there.
Yeah.
But like, how do you go up there? Like, what does that pressure feel like, and how are you building that confidence in your mind? Because I mean, I'll be honest. Like, there's a lot of people that goes out there to do performances, and their vocals are still there, so you have something to fall back on.
Yeah, of course.
So like honestly, I haven't performed without vocals yet. So
Gotcha.
how do you deal with that pressure? What are you telling yourself, and what do you do when? Because obviously, you I'm sure you've had some hiccups here and there, and maybe had to switch. Like, what's your mind like in that situation? How are you dealing with that pressure? And
so, for instance, that very first one, we kind of did a trial with the backtrack, and for some reason it was off, and I felt I couldn't even perform my things because it was throwing me it was throwing me off how bad it was sounding. So I had the idea to be like, hey man, let's just not do a backtrack. Let's just run it with the beat in the back. The other guy was with it, and we did it. I was nervous, but having someone else along with me on the stage kind of took away a little bit of that pressure, because I knew that it was not just eyes on me, but also on him. Same thing. Fast forward a couple years now, where I'm performing with the Pesado Click with V-Flow and Channel. I know either one of them is gonna go first, or I can look into the crowd, and see that they're supporting and stuff like that. So that really builds your confidence. But yeah, I've had plenty of hiccups, man. I've had 1 or 2
What
hiccups.
do you do whenever you hit that? And like, how are you talking to yourself in your head to keep that performance going? Because like I was at the show I was at, and I watched you do that. Like no one in the crowd had any idea if you did have any hiccups.
Yeah,
so like,
no.
What's that mindset? What are you telling yourself when that happens?
It was more so, I was like, oh, am I going to have enough breath to get through this? Because as you're performing and you're singing everything's going well for the beginning of it, but then you start to run out of breath a little bit. And you're dancing, so you're not fatiguing a bit. And so you feel your voice power kind of go down a bit. I just kind of remembered something Channel told me, keep the mic closer to you. If you need, you don't have much into your lungs, to let it out. And I remembered that, and I kind of ignored myself, because doubt comes in. I like to say it's resistance. Telling you, oh, you're failing. Oh, look, you're doing poor. If you listen to that, you're going to fall. You're going to stumble. And it's just going to be a mess. But if you kind of ignore that and know that there's confidence in preparation. I was prepared, Before I go on a stage, I know, let me rehearse these so that I don't forget the lyrics. The worst thing you can do is forget your own lyrics, man.
Oh, yeah.
With no backtrack, that's embarrassing.
Oh, for sure.
And it has happened once or twice, but I just kind of freestyled,
That's good. So like you're trying to block that voice completely out of your head.
And it's crazy because it's like you're battling yourself. But when everything is smooth, it's fine. It's smooth sailing. It's when you hit a hiccup, then you get that voice. You have to battle it. It's a battle. But yeah, stay strong. Push through the little hiccups.
Oh, for sure.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, I'm wanting to in the near future start performing with that.
You can do it.
And maybe like in the areas I've thought about, like how to set up a whole act and One thing I want to do is starting to try to chop up my songs a little bit so I can get more songs out in a 5-minute set, 7-minute set, 20-minute set.
For sure.
Try to showcase a little bit more. And I was thinking, like, if I took the vocals out, maybe like in the parts where I know I run out of breath at, maybe having some background music or my background vocals
wouldn't
in that
hurt.
area.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but that's one thing I'm trying to develop right now as like performing wise is like how to stand out from the crowd. Because if you go up there and you're not just performing one song and you got a whole set kind of pre-made on one track, I feel like it would be really cool and it'd help you stand out from the crowd in the show. So that's something I'm working on, and then trying to play with like live vocals compared to having background. Because now that I've gotten my feet wet a little bit, I definitely didn't have the balls to hop right in and do that in my first performance. I remember like during the middle of my first song, I was looking out at the crowd and I was so stiff, and I forgot like the whole second verse, like for the first 4 bars, and I'm just like fumbling through it, and then I look at everybody and I feel like everybody's staring at me and judging me.
And everybody knows. Knows
like that self-talk gets to me a lot, but I try to catch myself after 3 or 4 bars, because you got to keep pushing, because you never know what that second song, third song might help you just make that big leap that you need to make mentally.
Got to keep swimming, man. But I've had many of those little hiccups, because I've done a couple shows with like I said with Paselo guys, and I've mainly done without backtrack. I've done a few with backtrack that even then I, for some reason, feel like it can't go wrong, but it still can, even when you have your backtrack. It's just part of the game.
And what I've also learned is a lot of it you feel like you did absolutely terrible, but you go back and watch the video, because I like to go back and watch the videos and see where I can improve, just like if you're playing a sport, watching your film from the game or whatever. I'll go back, watch my performances, and notice that, like, oh, I was just, like, what was I telling myself during that? So, like, trying to figure out how to conquer that voice in your mind.
It's not as bad as you think it is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, but you can make it bad if you keep thinking it is.
If you keep dropping, yeah. And I always just try to, like, I had one performance one time where it was a song I had just written, like, a week earlier. It was actually that Ready for War song we opened up with.
Oh, got you.
And it was the week I had just completely finished the song. And I made the song in, like, 2 hours one night.
And you're excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I love this song. I want to perform it tonight. So I was trying to practice it, but the lyrics just I wasn't catching on. I started performing it, and it actually turned out to be one of my best performances, I feel like.
See?
But I opened up with that song, and that's probably where I messed up, was that I opened up with it.
So
I got through.
Came in hard.
I was trying to come in, and I had the chorus, and as soon as I got to the verse, it just blanked, like 100% blanked. I lost the whole thing, and I'm just like fumbling. And I just like cut it off. I got to stop that.
Yeah.
I think you were there that night at the green room in Asheville.
You had to push through that.
I think that was in December.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, crap. I just stopped a song right in the middle of my performance. And then after that, I was like, all right. Then I just switched and played the song I knew the best. And I just like, forget about it, you guys. Like I was fighting that voice. Boom. I got into that next song. I knew it very well. Tried to kill it the next song, and I felt like it actually turned out to be one of my better performances by the end of it.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes it's throwing yourself off that edge, you know, and just doing it. And sometimes it goes very, very well. And kind of prepping, like what I've tried to do in the prep sessions is, okay, I know I'm gonna mess up, and it's not about how you mess up. And I think a lot of stuff in life's like, it's not that you don't mess up, but it's how do you deal with yourself, and how do you process after you mess up. Yep.
And so, like, I try to prepare by telling myself, like, I'm going to mess up. I know this is going to happen. But when that happens, take a deep breath and then find that next verse or that next bar, because you know, you've practiced a million times. You've wrote the song. So it's like, just always remember that. And then if you do mess up, make sure you come back 10 times harder. And that's what's helped me kind of make sure when those mistakes happen.
Yeah, because you can't dwell on a mistake, because now you're on stage dwelling on your little boo-boo. So it's just the crowd's ready for you to move on as well. You know, they don't like to see people choking. You know, they don't like to see that as well. So they want you to be like, come on, you know.
Ready.
And you got to keep that in mind. And a lot of the people are supporting, even if it doesn't look like it. They want you to do well. They don't want to see someone bomb.
Oh yeah, stage, for sure. You know? And I do feel like that's important, that you're there to kind of perform for people, and keep that in mind during your performance, because you'll I think you'll do better if you're remembering that you're not just doing this for you.
Yeah.
You're trying to sell your message. I feel like, at least I know a lot of my music, I'm trying to put a message in every song, and I'm trying to, like right now, like I was saying, I'm trying to craft a whole set that kind of gets the whole message out with like the waves, the circle of life, the ups and the downs
For sure.
throughout the music. So just trying to remember that helps me a lot when I'm performing too. And if you're a new artist and you've never performed, or you're weary of trying to perform, if you got something like that, like just always try to remember that everybody had to start and do their first performance, and the more you can be prepared for it, the better. And you should go for it if you're contemplating trying to perform, because it definitely, like a lot like you, I didn't do my first performance in front of other than my friends. I started making music, like really started getting serious about it probably 2013.
Okay.
And I was writing a lot, and I didn't record a lot because I was trying to figure out, we can get into this in a little while,
For sure.
trying to get into how I could actually make music and what software and what I was trying to use to do that. But I started making music, like I recorded my first song in 2013, so almost, you go to 2024, almost 11 years before I do my first performance. And then, because I was scared about it, I didn't really have a lot of friends that made music. And so, like, until I really got around other creators, it was, and like, you don't want to go out there all by yourself.
No, for sure.
But if you are by yourself and you're thinking about it and you want to perform,
there's people out there too as well. There's people out there. You'd be surprised. You go out, you put yourself in that position, and people will see, okay, this guy is pursuing something. If I can give him some tips or something, people will approach you.
And like you were saying, like you feel like if you go do that, everybody's gonna be judging you. But it's a lot more supportive than that, especially getting around other creators, because they understand the struggle. They understand the courage it takes to hop up there and on this track. So that it's always been, at least in my experience so far, it's been very supportive with other creators. So kind of hopping back to the creative process. So like you first started out, you were writing a lot, finding some studios. How has that evolved over time?
Well, I with that first studio I went, I wasn't really happy with how I was sounding, and I couldn't really explain how to I really couldn't explain how I wanted to sound to the fella, and he had a lot of knowledge. Had all the programs and stuff like that, things I didn't have. My knowledge is in the writing and in the creating process of it. But yeah, that's kind of, I moved on. We stopped hanging out. He stopped making music. So then I had to just keep writing, keep creating. I wrote something that was pretty nice, and I thought it was worth the time to go to Spartanburg and invest in recording. The person who was recording me, the producer, he struggled with Spanish because he didn't know I was gonna switch to Spanish in the middle of the song. I hadn't told him. It slipped my mind, I just figured, he'll be able to manage with it. And he was like, "Hey man, like I've never worked with Spanish before. This is really neat. Like this is helping me be better. But I'm also gonna have to ask you a lot of questions. Like is this how you're gonna want to sound and stuff?" It turned out all right. I really want to go back and work on that song with him again because I wanted to change a few parts on that song. It's bestless. It hasn't been released yet, but I have a rough draft on it, and I'm really happy with it. But I really feel that's my problem. I always feel like I can make something a little bit better, and it's just a issue I have. Maybe it's part of that resistance thing telling me this is not good enough, But it's a battle.
So one thing that helped me get out of that mindset is actually this book sitting right here, The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. Definitely changed my whole outlook on the creative process, and like saying like not trying to be too much of a perfectionist.
Yes.
And like just letting the music be what it is. But I'll definitely, if you haven't read it.
No, I that's actually a book I was. It's in my wish list. I finished reading Stephen Pressfield's The War of Art. That's one I recommend because he literally tackles the issue that I feel I'm facing every single day, which is resistance, that pushback. That and it can come in different forms of procrastination, distractions, problems, anything, just to deter you from the creative process. For me, I struggle a lot if I don't go home and I do some writing. If I don't work on something for that day, I feel like I lost a day. If it makes any sense. And he puts it in his book in the way of like the hunter needs to get his kill. Every hunter needs to get a kill, right? Same as the eagle needs to get a hawk. I mean, it needs to get a hare. Whatever it is, everything needs that chase. And for me, it's that. It's getting into the battlefield of the creative space and putting on a beat and going through it, not letting it, agüitarte is word in Spanish, like getting down. Basically, just that process of getting in there and tackling the work you have to do if you want to get to where you want to go. If you don't do that work, it's not gonna do itself. So I feel that every single day, and if I work on something new or if I work on something old, it's just every single day I need to work on something. If not, I don't go to bed feeling accomplished. I wake up the next day, even if I do write something great that night, the very next day I know that tomorrow I'll have to do that again. If not, I won't go to bed satisfied. Like, it's just that's my creative process. I create every day. I edit. I go back. I make sure things, because like I said, I haven't released a song yet. And
are you working like in a studio, or are you
No,
more like
this
with
is-
instrumentals? Are you still like handwriting, or are you on your?
Yeah, man. I am pen and paper, bro. I think that's the sweet science right there, man. There's nothing that can really put you to the source of whatever it is. I feel like an antenna sometimes, brother. When I'm locked in,
Oh yeah.
like I feel like that wasn't even me, but I'll write this down. It's just I don't know where some of these words and these flows and these melodies come from. I just make sure I'm there to catch them every day. That's my thing. That's my creative process.
So I used to be big on writing and everything, and I always liked handwriting it out because there was something really special. And every once in a while now I'll still do that, but like mine's kind of changed probably in the last year or so. Actually, like the first time I ever hopped in the studio with V-Flow, me and him, I had never completed a song in a night or in like a 2-hour session or in 3.
Yeah,
so,
these guys work quick.
and like a lot like what you're talking about, I was trying to be way too perfectionist on it. And I would write and like if I got stuck on a bar, the song stopped. And like I couldn't finish the song because I'd get stuck because every single bar had to have 5 different meanings and be perfectly laid out.
Yeah.
And so like I struggled, like I started really getting, I've been putting music out since 2013. But I really got serious about dropping music in 2019. And obviously you have your creative breaks, and then you're trying to find your new artist, or you're trying to find your new style. So you have breaks. But really got serious on recording and making music in 2019. And 2019, I was still writing everything out, and it had to be perfect. Yeah. I had notebooks, papers, and I like having one loose sheet of paper. And I don't want to have no other thoughts. I don't want no other songs around it. I just want that one clean piece of paper and to start creating it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of go to 2021. COVID hits, the whole world's changing, and like so I'm trying to find a new style. I have a lot of questions at this point in life, especially like spirituality questions, and I'm like getting really deep in my head trying to figure out who I am. I just had my first kid, just got married, and life was just changing, and so I was trying to change up the way I made music. So I started doing a lot more freestyles, and then trying to write to the freestyles, or just trying to freestyle until it was good, and then quit, and then freestyle again. And that's why a lot of music didn't come out in that time period for me, is because I was trying to find myself as a new artist. And then I started, like, the way it's kind of evolved to now is, and like thanks to help from V-Flow, was like I'd never done a vibe track before. I'd only done like freestyles.
Yeah.
And I'd never had tried to find that vibe that I wanted and then write to that vibe. And so I'd always get stuck with the freestyle. I couldn't get good enough, or I didn't want to keep writing to it because the freestyle went crazy. And then I didn't like the flow or something. So coming out with a vibe track and trying to just find the answer of whatever that beat's calling for, whatever that's flowing into you at that point, like you're saying, like an antenna. I'm just trying to find that signal, and as soon as I find it hit, I might. Because
you know when it hits.
Oh yeah.
You know when it's like, all right, that's what I meant, and that's what I was trying to do, and here it is. And you also know when it's not.
Exactly. And so like sometimes I'll hop in there and it's the first freestyle I take on the track. Or sometimes I might, if I'm liking the beat, I might freestyle 10, 15 times before I find that right vibe track.
Yeah.
That's got the ideas that I'm wanting. And then now I go in, I find that, and then I pull out my phone because I can go quicker. And like I'm on the clock. I'm trying to knock a song out in 2 or 3 hours. I'm just wanting to get the rough draft, the song idea out, because then I can always think about it more. But like, let's say I'm working on a single. I'll get that ready, and then I'll make sure I finish that rough draft that night. But I have to record that night. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I have to have the microphone. I don't want to hear the beat before I hop in the studio. I don't want to know what I'm going to create.
Okay.
I want it to be really spontaneous, whatever's calling that
Fresh
night.
out the butt. Yeah,
and then I'm dropping whatever I'm feeling that day, and I'm just trying to capture that feeling. Or sometimes it's kind of prophetic, and I might be saying something, I'm like, I don't really understand why that's on my head tonight, but I'm going to try to finish the song, and then I might understand what it means 3 months from now, a month from now, a year from now. I was talking to myself. I feel like it works like that a little bit.
It came out for a reason. Thinking. It may not be for right now. It could be for later. That's another thing. You work on things, and sometimes you have to learn to save things for later because you want that instant gratification. Okay, this song is good as is. Boom. Sometimes if you go back, you can take it to another level. So that's just how I feel the best kind of work is made. But don't get me wrong. Sometimes going in fresh, not having anything prepared, and going off of straight vibes, that'll deliver you some good stuff as well.
It's just trying to, like, you're finding out who the artist you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while, and I'm still developing the artist I am, or trying to figure out who I am. And it's like, I don't feel like you should ever go in there with any kind of, like, you should have some guidelines, but I don't try to go into the studio or go to create something. And again, a lot of thanks to this book, it opened my eyes to a lot of stuff, and especially on the creative process. And now it's just like I just want to figure out what the art's calling for that day, not be too strict on it, not too hard on it, and just kind of create whatever's flowing that night. And I enjoy it that way, and I feel like just developing yourself as an artist, finding what works for you, and not having too many strict guidelines on it. And then, like, because you never know, like, your best song might come to you in the weirdest, strangest way. Yeah,
but you have to be there. You have to be in the field, ready for it. You have to. If not, you're gonna miss out on it. If you're not there putting in the work, it could be waiting for you to just sit down for a second so that we can give this to you. But if you don't.
So here's a funny story over the weekend. So I didn't know if I was going to talk about this just yet, and I'm still working on it, and so I'm not going to give no names or anything. But this weekend I've been having like that music bug voice, whatever it is. I felt like it was just calling, like, because like I don't know what the song is yet, but like I feel like it starts tugging and tugging and tugging, like, you got to do this now or you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss it. And so this past weekend, I've been wanting to create an album, and nothing's came to me like since my last album last year, and it's only been single after single after single, or some mediocre studio sessions, or like what I like to do is something called Rap Roulette, like when I'm stuck or in writer's block. Even if I freestyle the same thing 20 times in a row, I'll go hop in the studio, and I'll just throw beats on after beat. I won't even check out the beat. Like, I just find a beat that I like the picture of, upload it off of BeatStars into my software, Logic, and then I'll just freestyle until I just find myself. And so it might take me weeks, and I might just only do those freestyles. I don't go fix them or nothing. I'm just practicing, trying to find the thing. And so, like, for the last couple months, I've been wanting to try to find an album, and nothing's been popping. And then last week, I just felt like it started calling at me. And, like, I just started noticing the little signs, the little words that you pick up on, and the little things about yourself. Mm-hmm. And then, like, over this past weekend, it was 12:30 at night on Friday. I'm laying down, getting ready to go to bed, and I just can't shake it. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go hop in the studio and see what happens. I created 2 songs that night, like, out of nowhere, like, from 12:30 to 4 o'clock in the morning, just hopped in the studio. And I knew my sleep schedule was jacked up at that point.
So it's worth it.
And then I go hop in the studio, and the 2 name of the song, I'll only give these 2 names, and I don't know if they're going to be on the album yet, because I just started creating it. And hopefully, I ain't going to give no dates or anything just yet. But those 2 song names was Tomorrow, and the next song was called Don't Sleep. And so, like, the music was almost talking, like, those are the names. I didn't purposely do that. I just, like, the song felt like Tomorrow, and the next song was called Don't Sleep. That's what happened that night. So Saturday comes. I get into the studio, or I get home, or Saturday happens, and I'm getting ready to go to bed, and it's like 11 o'clock, and I start remembering the names of those two songs, and I just felt like those two songs were like singing to me, like, tomorrow, don't sleep.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, don't sleep. You're gonna miss out. You're gonna miss out. You're gonna miss out. And so, like, I'm laying down. I'm trying to shake the words off, because at this point I didn't know where the album was going. I didn't know the name of the album, and now I do. But like, I didn't know, and I just felt like I could not go to sleep tonight, and I had to go in the studio. The music was telling me that. I felt like I had to get up. So at 12:30 again on Saturday night, I go hop into the studio, create 2 more songs Saturday night from 12:30 and about 3:30, 4 o'clock. I'm in the studio, like sleep deprived. But during that process, I came out with the intro track and the name of the album, and the whole idea started flooding me, which led into Sunday, which came up with the rest of the album idea and what I'm wanting to try to paint. Yeah. And I it's just crazy how, like, you're talking about that antenna, that source, and sometimes you have to go do it, or you're going to go crazy. I feel like I go crazy. Yeah,
same.
Like, I have to create that music right now, or I'm not going to live with myself, or I'm just going to feel in a funky mood. I get down. I get super, super dark whenever I haven't been making music for a while.
Like, for me, it's like, if I don't sit down and I write that day, I'm like, oh, you loser. You were too scared to go sit down and write. You couldn't do it for 10, 15 minutes. And then it'll just be in my head, and it's just something that it's a battle. But I feel like I'm glad that I have that. If not, I wouldn't sit down and have notebooks full of stuff, ready to go.
So do you do it more for, like, the art of it, or are you trying to, like,
so,
gain something?
Because for me, it almost feeds me. It makes me feel a lot better. I'm a happier person when I am sitting down and writing and doing my things. It's that alone time with myself, and that antenna, like I'm saying. So, you good. Camera check.
Camera check.
Check.
So, it's just crazy. You have to do it
I have to. Yeah, it's something that it's a daily routine for me. Kind of like everyone. Some people need to go to the gym. Some people need to read. Some people.
How long have you been going, like, every day with it?
I have never thought of that. I can't remember the last time I didn't sit down and write for at least 30 minutes.
Like, is that how you, like, when you first started, like, getting serious about it? So you pretty much.
Well, I mean, it was the notebook would be on my desk. If I didn't work that day, if I had some free time, I'd sit down, put my headphones on, and just anything, man. A 16, a 32 that maybe I can use for another beat. If it doesn't work for this beat, go back and look at work I'm not even gonna use, but I really like this verse on it.
Are you going in there, like, creating a whole song, or are you making, like, just a verse, or just
I have so many songs that are incomplete because I haven't decided what verse I want to do, because I have like 3 different verses for it, and or a hook. Same thing with, I have songs where I have a beautiful hook, but I know how I want to tackle it, but I haven't found the right way to do it, so I don't feel like that song's ready, because I know it's gonna come. You know what I'm saying? So on some songs I just feel like they just haven't hit the mark yet, and then on some songs it's just the resistance thing. I'm scared to put it out. Not even scared. It's more like it's the doubt that you have sometimes that it might not go well for me, or I put all this effort in, but you can't look at it that way. And how I've reminded myself is staying present. And for example, on shows that I've performed, sometimes I've performed on it to get through the performance, to get out of there, and say I did it, instead of actually enjoying it and putting my all in what I feel I represent into the performance and every word that I say, instead of trying to get to the next word.
So, dude, kind of talking about being present, is there, because, like, that's something I struggle with, and like, especially trying to be present in those moments where you have the pressure and you have the anxiety of getting ready to go perform in front of people. But, like, one thing I've been working on lately and really trying to dive deeper in is, like, trying to get meditations in, praying in, making sure, like, I'm not forgetting my I'm trying to go at the music as if I'm trying to, like, give it to somebody, and not not really try to, and like I definitely struggle with this, but like not trying to go out there for my own self gratification, but like I feel like I've been called to be an artist, and I'm trying to put a message out with my music, and like trying to meditate, pray, figure out before I go perform why I'm performing, which I need to do a little bit better and more of. But I feel like that helps you like get that focus of like, this is why I'm performing it, and how can I go out there and try to portray the art that I'm creating? How can I go try to portray that? Because like in the studio, everything, like it's always about, well, what am I going through? How can I try to help someone that might be going through the same things I'm going through? What am I feeling right now? How do I want to portray that thought? And not try to be too selfish with my music or performance. But a lot of times I get caught up in this, like forgetting about the moment, getting caught up with what is everybody thinking? What is everybody like? Did I screw up? Did they notice I screwed up? Blah, 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 blah. Instead of thinking about that. So is there anything like you're like working through? Do you like, are you meditating? Are you, like, how do you get your mindset ready to go perform, get in the studio? Like what's your thought process?
So
with
performing, I've performed maybe like handful times, 6 times at most. So one big thing that V-Flow did when on the first performance that we had was right before we left the car, he goes, can we pray? I said, yeah, we did a little prayer, and that took away my nervousness, bro. Like I can't even explain it. So after that, the next performance we had, I asked him, hey, can we pray? Yeah, bro. We said a quick little prayer, and again, like it's just being grateful for where you're at. Being grateful for what you got and the people you got around you. We were on the same goal that day. Just go out there, rep what we have, our little crew, and get out, Support people as well, show our support, and get out. And there's really no better preparation than, no better confidence and preparation than knowing you've done the work, knowing that you know your lyrics, knowing that you have a reason why you're doing what you're doing. And yeah, for me, I like to, before I write music or before I start creating, I feel like it's out of respect. I kind of take a moment and be like, all right, I'm entering this field that I feel like I can maneuver in. You start writing, you start getting ideas and trying to piece together something that's worth showing to other people. But sometimes it's also it's for yourself. Like I said, if I don't create something that day, or at least a 16, something that flows together, I feel like I failed that day. Because what am I trying to do? I'm trying to be an artist. Not even trying to be. I feel like I am an artist because every day I am doing something related to the music. And that's just that, man. Reminding yourself what you're doing, knowing that you have it in you. Anything you ever need is already inside. You just have to dig, man. Sometimes but right before, for example, when people were performing and I realized everyone else had a backtrack and I didn't, that was a huge blow for me. It took my confidence from here to here, bro. I was like, what? Everyone else has a backtrack? But it impressed people that I was...
Oh, 100%.
He was like, oh, you're going to go on without a backtrack? And I was like, is that bad? And he's like, well, no, it's just, good luck. And I was like, all right. And the first song comes on, I get through it nicely. Second song comes on, and I'm realizing, oh, man, the breath work needs to be done. And that's something I pride myself on. Like, I play soccer, so I feel like my stamina is good. It's a different type of stamina. Performing on stage, having people look at you, you having to interact with the crowd. Shout out to Gang Beef, shout out to this person, having to remember these things and your lyrics and making sure you don't say the wrong thing. Like I said, with no backtrack.
So like another fun fact about that same night you're talking about, that was my second performance, but first like real performance, I feel like.
For sure.
And like they were taking names and everything, and then they called me to go first.
Oh.
So the first time I'm ever performing, I had to go out first, which honestly I think helped me out a little bit because like then I realized how talented everybody was in this contest, and I don't know how I'd have done if I'd have heard other people. I'd have probably got the doubt because I didn't have no idea what to expect performing yet. People. And so I didn't know like how to shout out everybody and thank you for the opportunity.
Exactly.
I'm just like, okay, play my song. Let's
out.
go. And like again, like in the videos, I'm so stiff, and which I've worked on a little bit. And like the performing side definitely needs to tweak a little bit more, but we're working on it. But yeah, that was
I remember
crazy
you set the tone that night though, because you got people rocking. Everybody was like, okay, and then boom, the show just continues, you know. And we that was a good night. I remember that being a pretty good night for everybody involved.
For sure. So what really got you inspired to start wanting to make music? Like high school, who were you in high school, and then like you start really getting serious about music? What?
Well, in high school, I was sports athlete. I did soccer, I did track, and that was kind of my main thing. And I felt like I ended up getting scholarship opportunities for track and soccer. I chose soccer. It just didn't work out. Some things happened with the family I don't really want to get into, but it didn't work out. But after that all happened, I really was like, well, what am I good at other than running and kicking a ball? And I realized, I remembered one of my teachers, Miss Durant. Shout out Miss Durant.
Did you go to North?
I went to North. She was my English teacher, and like I said, we were doing something with writing, and it was something poetry related. And she looked at me after I had done my work. She was like, "You wrote this?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was something about love, you know. I wasn't even in love, but it was just rhyming words together. That went together well. And she was like, "You should look into poetry." And I was like, "Oh, poetry. I like soccer, and I like this and that, and I like track." After after that call, the whole college thing didn't go through and didn't go well. I remembered that from Mr. Durant. So I started writing to beats, freestyling in parties, you know. You get drunk at parties. Yeah. This guy's like, "Oh, I can rap." I got hit in the face with cake because of a party rap battle.
Tell me more about that.
So, yeah, it's just this guy's rapping in the corner. I come by and he says something to me, and almost like if he's wanting a battle, and I'm like, all right. So then I go. I'm so tipsy. I can't tell you what I said to him. Everyone's like, "Oh!" Right? You hear the everyone, "Oh!" And I remember looking around and being like, "Yeah, you know." The guy is standing there, sad. He's looking sad. You know, he's drunk. And then I go around the corner, and my homie's like, "Hey, what was that about?" I was like, "Oh, we had a rap battle." I was like, "Oh, that was dope. Turn around, and then his older brother came and smacked me with cake in the face. It was a fun night. It got a little crazy in that house. But it wasn't the first time. I mean, even in high school, rap battling in the bathroom, I almost got jumped because I told the guy that his breast stank, and he didn't like it. And then his homies were blocking the door, and it's just, that's kind of like the thing. I've been put in situations where it's like, "Oh, he can rap," and then it's like on the spot, "All right, rap," and then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, he can rap," you know.
So one thing I've been thinking about trying to do on the podcast, if you're down, we could do the first one.
What is that?
Would be called the Rap Roulette.
Okay.
Which is again, we don't know what the beat is. Like, you can give me a subject.
Okay.
I can look up a beat on BeatStars. We'll just find a random free beat, and then without knowing what it is, we're just gonna download it straight into the software.
Okay.
Play it, and then just freestyle whatever happens. So we can do that at the end of the episode if you want to.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do that.
Bet. So today's episode, we're gonna showcase the first ever Rap Roulette freestyle. But no matter if it's good or bad, like however it goes.
We're doing it. Yeah, for sure. So it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here, and
it's freestyling. Like, sometimes you do a phenomenal job, and sometimes it's like, but it's definitely one of my favorite things to do.
For sure.
So do you like practice freestyling any, or do you just mostly your practice is writing, which I'm sure helps with freestyling?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I'll pop on a beat, and first thing I'll do is try to freestyle it. If I come up with a hook, I'll write that hook down. If I come out with a couple of bars that I know I can build off of, like if I say something I'm immediately like keen to, I'll write it down and then try to work off of that. And yeah, it's just putting on the beat, try to freestyle. If nothing comes out, I'll probably come back to that beat. If I know that there might be something there, but it just wasn't the right time for it, I might come back to that beat. But there's there's many ways to tackle writing, and I think one of the best ways is just being present. Is this worth even working on? Is this worth my time? Is this beat? Can I really make a good song with this beat? Type of thing. But there's a lot of variables that come with making music, and
it's crazy to me, like all the different processes. Even like of your top tier artist or your favorite songs, even like everybody's process is just a little bit different.
Yeah.
But we all searching for that same outcome.
yeah.
It's definitely magic in my eyes.
It is. It is.
And so what's your goals kind of this year? How are you planning on dropping anytime soon?
That's definitely in the plan. That's one of my main goals for this year is getting on the platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, getting on platforms, having something to show people who have been waiting, who are in my DMs. Hey, where can I find your song to that video you posted? Hey, where can I do this? It's not up there. I don't have it. It's not posted. So that's one thing I want to be able to do. Have at least 3, 4, 5 songs, like an EP, something.
Do you have like a plan for that?
I do. I have songs. I have my notebook, and I went down the other day. I had about 17 songs that I like that I haven't even recorded, but I have on paper, and I have up here that I want to get recorded so that I can start narrowing what I want for my EP and what I want for my potential future first album.
You have any deadline you set yet?
I should. That's one thing
I will say, like, if you put yourself, especially if you got the stuff ready to go and you're not still creating, not that you're not creating because you still got to record them, right? Mm-hmm. But like if you had, like these song ideas and everything ready, I know, like when I put myself on, like right now I do have a date in mind, and I've already set my clock for the album I just started and working on. Also, like I'm thinking about the content and the videos I want to make, because I feel like that's so important in today's music.
Yeah,
it definitely
is.
Have
the content.
Have the content ready. I'm trying to have it branded. I'm trying to have my own style. I'm trying to have enough reels ready for like a whole month where I can post every day, every other day.
For sure.
And I'd love to have a couple music videos, which is a lot. But writing it down, and then when the ideas come, like I'm trying to create like the real ideas. I'm trying to finish the song ideas. I'm trying to get all the rough drafts of the songs done. But setting like a date, like a hard date, especially I learned that last year when I did my first album, because I was recording a lot of my album last year in January, February. And then in February, I had enough music where I knew it was an album. And I was like, well, I'm going to drop it. It's got to come out April 5th. So the first thing after I came out with that date is I dropped that on Instagram. Okay. And I didn't want to miss that because I told everybody there's an album coming out April 5th. And so I used March to record everything. And so like I tried to just make sure I had the final drafts done. Yeah. And I knew in March I was going to come back to it. So March hit, I pick out the 9 songs that I picked on the album. And I just started crafting them the best that I knew how to mix them. Gotcha. And fixed any parts that was wrong with them. Because if you have a good rough draft, and I purposefully on a rough draft, I purposefully leave some stuff messed up so that I have to come back to it and perfect it. Gotcha. And then if I pick that song for the project, or if I pick it for a single or whatever I pick it for, I'll be able to. I know I have to go fix it, which are going to make me actually listen to it a little deeper, make sure it's sounding like I want to.
You might find something else you missed. Yeah.
And I try not to be too hard on myself there, because I like a little bit of a rough, raw feel on my music instead of super produced. That's the kind of style I'm trying to brand with my music, a little bit raw, especially on the vocals, because I definitely don't know how to sing. And I try on some songs, but we're working on it. But yeah, setting that deadline and date on that has helped me make sure I finish the project, and then coming up with a plan. Okay, well, this month I can create, this month or this week or whatever, I'm shooting reels. This week I got to do this week I got to do that, and then I can get to the project that I want. And if I keep that date, then I can schedule the whole thing out, and then make sure I hit my schedule 80%, and then I have it ready to go for sure on that date. And then you can kind of release that, and then find the next thing that you want to create. For sure.
And you have that feeling of, okay, I have a schedule, and I'm nailing these marks, and I'm hitting the marks.
And don't be too hard on yourself whenever
sure.
you miss that schedule point. Okay, screw it. Let's keep moving on. Let's try to find the next thing. Let's make sure we do this. But I think too many people get where their schedule's more of a tyrant to them instead of like, obviously you want to try to stick to your schedule the best that you can, but whenever you mess up, just like if you're trying to be on a good diet, well, if you mess up one time and then just fall completely off the wagon, well, the diet's not going to work. Sure. But if you mess up, okay, talk to yourself. Listen, we're not doing this, but I'm not going to beat you up too bad today. Let's just tomorrow. Let's wake up.
Let's go.
Regroup.
Yeah.
And always trying to keep regrouping, especially with the artistic, like an artistic project.
For sure.
Like you gotta pay attention and you gotta stay on it and not be too hard on yourself. And then when a song's done, let it be done.
Yeah.
Don't keep tweaking.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Because like, hopefully you get your song where it blows up. But like you like right now, a lot of artists, like even if the first song you drop blows up.
Yeah.
Well, if you only have one song out, one piece of content out, and that one piece blows up magically overnight, the fans are gonna come looking for you. And if you don't have that whole backlog ready, then they're gonna know about you for 5 minutes, and then you're gonna be gone. So, like even if I'm not being able to create the best stuff today, like you're gonna be able to see my journey the whole time. Yeah. And I'm working on it, and so hopefully, if I ever do have a song that hits or goes viral or a million people listen to,
you have stuff
then like you have years worth of content. You got years worth of old music, and then like I would love to stay independent. I don't know what would happen if I actually if I hit a song that actually blew up. But if that did happen, like if you have your own catalog and everything and you're getting all those streams, you're the one getting paid. And like that's the goal. I guess that's one of the goals. I want to stay true to the art. Yeah. And like kind of I don't know what's going to happen with it.
I'll be honest, the music industry is scary to me, man. You know, it's a place that I thought was different. I looked at it as a kid. You know, you see all these artists, all these musicians living the life, having, you know, being really happy. But there's stuff in the music industry that's you have to watch out for, man. There's a lot of people who are shady. There's a lot of people who are not trying to get the best interest, you know, are in for your best interest. And for me, that's not saying that if I start posting music, oh, I'm gonna get all this attention, I'm gonna blow. But it could happen. It could happen that something catches fire and they're like, oh man, this guy, like you said, I'm in the advantage of I have Spanish and English. It could happen either language. You get a song that people are enjoying. Then you're put into positions where, like you said, independent, signing a deal with some guy who's promising you things and money and this. It's a field that there's a lot of rats. A lot of rats.
And a lot of it's a very competitive field.
It's a lot of competitive field.
And I feel like one huge advantage we have today compared to like artists in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, even early 2010s is like social media.
Social media.
We're able to have the veil removed a little bit. We're able to see, you're able to distribute your own music. Yeah. If you have a big enough following, then you can literally drop something and hundreds of thousands of people will hear it that night. Yeah. And you don't have to have the whole music industry compared to like back in the 90s and 2000s and 80s and before that. And like I feel like we have a huge advantage in knowledge and like being able to see what those people's lives are really like. Yeah. And like decide, well, do I really want to be that top tier person, or do I want to have that life? And that's one way I do like that's one of the things I like about social media is because it's revealed a lot of truths. It's pulled the curtain back on a lot of different industries, and just in like life in general. I feel like you can get lost in social media real easy too, but I do feel like it's a huge advantage, and like you can use it to your advantage. Like trying, like you can come up with your whole media. Like we're doing this podcast right now. Sure. Like it's literally me, you. We have V-Flow and Chano CG sitting in here chilling. Sure. But literally, we just have a computer. We have an iPhone. We have a camera, some microphones, an iPad.
Items here on display.
We're trying to make it look good in here.
For sure.
But like literally, we don't have to pay nobody to drop this. Like I can go drop it on YouTube tomorrow and it's ready to go.
For sure.
And so like I feel like trying to and find what works for you. Like if you're wanting to create a podcast or create your own music, like you don't have to have all this gear. You don't have to have like all you need is a phone and a microphone, or use the microphone on your phone. Just get started making music. You can make I've seen people like when I was first trying to create music, I was writing a lot. Yeah. And like I wanted my own studio because I couldn't afford studio time. it took me forever to get a computer good enough to make music because I kept buying used computers because that's all I could get, and I wanted an Apple. And I remember like the first Apple I had, I think this time it was around 2017, and I bought like a 2007 iMAXX.
Ooh, okay.
And it had like the old school GarageBand on it, and I loved it. But I couldn't share the music because it was outdated. And that kind of discouraged me. Next, I tried to get, it was like a 2012 version, but it was one that the computer kept shorting out. But like I could record for maybe an hour, and then the computer would just start spazzing out. Yeah. But like that was the only way I could, and that was 2016 when I was dropping my music back at it. Actually, not back at it. That wasn't on the computer, but I dropped Road Trips off of there and a couple freestyles back in 2016 off that computer, and then it finally just went kablunk. Yeah. Before that, I bought an iPad, and I bought a microphone, and I could finally make my own music because before that I had to go to a buddy's house or try to find someone to record with, and I only made like 3 songs before 2016, like actually recorded them, unless I was recording them on like my phone or something. Because like there were some songs I'd play the beat out of a speaker. I had my phone on record, and I was just like one take making the song, right? Yeah,
I've been there.
And so 2016 comes around. I get an iPad because I had just started my company, my business, and I wanted to get an iPad so I could keep up with work and obviously make music.
For sure.
And the one reason why I started my own business is so I could have the freedom to be the artist I want to be, and I feel like my path is I always wanted to make enough money in business so that I could pursue my own music dream. So that's my goal in life, if I can get my business there. But 2016 comes around. I get the iPad. I go buy my microphone I still use to today. Yeah. And I bought like an iRig, I think it was the name brand, that plugged into the iPad. Okay. And it let me actually put the microphone on. It was before I got a Focusrite or any kind of interface. That was my first interface. And I just recorded on GarageBand on my iPad and created the second song I ever dropped back at it in 2016, which has been re-released and is on my YouTube channel. So just flip over there and check out where I started, and then you can check out my newest song, "Ready for War." After that, check it out. See the growth, if you think there's any growth.
There's growth.
I've definitely felt it. But yeah, and then the iPad, I didn't really like making music on there, and then 2016 to 2019 was a fun story. So again, I'm starting a business. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out business, and I was terrible. And I'm not saying I'm great at it now, but I'm learning, and I'm trying to get better every day, which is what matters. And so I'm starting the business, and I go buy me I go buy another used MacBook. At this point, it's 2017 because my other computer just fried. I haven't been able to record music in a year, and I broke the iRig thing. And the iPad, it just wasn't the most favorable way to create music. Which, if that's all you got, go do it. Go make the music. But in my head, I was wanting to get a MacBook Pro. And so I go buy another one. And I have it for about 3 weeks. And then some work stuff happened, and I had to have that money back to pay for some jobs. Because, again, I was learning business, young, stupid. And I had a keyboard, and I had to get some money that week. So I took that MacBook back to where I just bought it. After 3 weeks, I recorded a whole album like in them 3 weeks. Like I was like, I was going crazy. Boom. And then I lose the computer because I had to work.
My days, dude.
So from 2017 to 2019, I didn't record anything because like I started focusing on business, and it was tougher than I thought. And I was trying to learn how to get out of there. And finally, 2019, I get the iMAXX that I have sitting right here, the little Mac Mini. Okay. That's behind the MacBook Pro. And then here comes Clear Conscious, the album I dropped in 2019. I didn't really drop it as an album. I dropped singles that I later created into a playlist called Clear Conscious, which I need to drop on all the streaming platforms because it's still not out there, but you can find it on my YouTube page.
Check it out.
But that was like my first project that I worked on for a year, and that's when I really started learning how to really record because I finally had a computer good enough to create music on a consistent basis without it crashing or without glitches or all this. And then now we've upgraded to the newer MacBook Pro.
For sure.
And like just always remember, like if you want to build a studio or you don't want to pay for time or whatever, like just use what you got, get started, keep creating, and eventually you can build your studio. Like it's taken me 10 years to get the studio I have now. Sure. And just adding little piece at little piece at little piece at little piece. whenever you can afford it and whenever you can do this. Like, it's possible, but it's always possible to use. I've seen people just record with their microphone on their phone and make their beat on their phone. And there's all kinds of like BandLab, I think is one.
That's how I started posting on social media. I would record myself on my phone freestyling. I would clip it with like some videos, try to sync it to make it look like it was it all flows together, and it's just little things you have to post. You have to put yourself out there, but even if it's minimal things like recording yourself off your phone, like you said, just do what you got to do.
There's no wrong way really to create music. You just gotta find your way and your path, and you don't know what your path's gonna be. It's gonna be different, guaranteed, than anyone else. And so if you keep looking up to somebody, and it's good to look up to people and have people.
It is, and that's one thing I learned from like I learned from you, and I learned from these fellas right here, V-Flow and Channel. You guys are knee deep in the game, bro. You got your songs, you have your projects, you got beautiful videos on YouTube, like some great scenery, some great shots, and it's inspiring for a person like me, because I know that I can create a good enough song to get some attention, but I struggle putting it out there, recording it, putting it on platforms. But I see you guys do it, and I know that it's possible, and it's very inspiring. So you have to have people around you like that, because if not, how are you gonna even know that that's possible? If you don't see it, like when you're seeing it in person, you know, I hang around with you guys, you get on stage, you rock the stage, you know, you go back home, you work on some songs, record them, make videos. It's a beautiful thing, and when you're doing it, you may not even realize it, but it inspires people, man. It inspires people. Seeing, like, you have your own channel, you have followers. It's you're in there, you're in the field, and to me, seeing it's motivating, and it makes me feel like I can do it.
And I will say, like, getting around people that do it, and like that helps inspire me, and that's why I feel like I put out a lot lately. Cause like before 2023, whenever I got with V-Flow and really started, like, and then he's gave me a lot of opportunities, so I'm very thankful for that. Like before that, I was all alone. I'd hit people up all the time, like, "Hey, how are you putting your music out?" And they would ghost you, because everybody, you feel like a lot of people want to just take it as competition or whatnot.
They don't want to tell you that. They don't want to give you any game. Like, this person might get ahead of me or something. But yeah, a lot of people do take it as competition when it's genuine advice people are looking for.
And it's like everybody's wanting to shut the door or only give you a little bit. And it's like me. I like to hang out with people, and if you're making music with me, or like if you're like, hey, I'm in this, like I'm serious about it. So like if we're talking like that, then I will give. I ain't saying I got the greatest advice, but like I'm gonna try to point you in the right direction. I'm not gonna hold anything that I know back, and that's one reason why I want to do the podcast, is just because like I like to help people, and I like to learn. I like to interview other artists. That's why I like I've on all my podcasts so far I've asked about people's processes, because like,
there's different. Everyone
I'm
is
interested, because you never know what you can pull from somebody else. I want to give my process out, so like maybe it might help someone be able to hop out of their comfort zone some and just like put it out or do that. And I don't know. It's just like I don't know. There's definitely competition that makes it fun.
It is, but I'm competitive. It's good to be competitive, but you can't be too competitive,
because that team is always going to beat an individual.
Yeah.
Look at LeBron James.
Yeah, and it's staying on your toes too, because there's opportunities every single day. Every
day. And it's one thing I've heard that's helped me just recognize opportunities, and I'm sure people's heard this before, and you might have even heard this, but it's like if you're looking, like you look at opportunities, if you're looking for them every day, you'll find them, just as if you're looking for, like if you don't pay attention to red cars, you're never going to recognize a red car, but whenever you start paying attention and you're looking for a red car, you're going to see a million red cars that day. So like opportunities always lurking, and you don't know which one's going to work out for you yet or not, but opportunities always lurking around the corner. And once you start looking for it, then it's going to reveal itself to you all the time, just like in business and music and friendships and anything you're wanting to do. Like that opportunity's going to be there, and you're going to start putting yourself in the right environments to find those opportunities.
For sure. I mean, if you've seen that one picture of, it's like an image of the man who's got he's picking for diamonds. He's picking for diamonds, and he stops literally just 2 more swings away from where the diamonds were. But he's all upset because he feels he wasted his time.
He's turning around, walking away.
He's like, I got no reward for my hard work. Little did he know, if he just kept pushing a little bit more, the diamond was right there.
I have that picture in my head a lot. And I try to remind myself of that picture.
Yeah, because you never know.
Whenever it's, because I mean, just business, which business tests you in all kinds of different ways. Definitely, because they're like, everybody wants to quit. And I feel like in business is a lot like music, because like your competition is not going to let you know they're struggling. Like other business owners, everybody's trying to put on this face or persona. And I don't know. We've struggled. We try to fix the problem. And like the secret to staying in business or trying to be successful in music or really anything in life is whenever those difficult times come, don't quit.
Don't quit.
Keep pushing. Keep grinding.
Yeah.
You can make it through this. The only way you're going to make it through it is doing it yourself and figuring out the problem, becoming a great problem solver.
Sure.
And taking that problem solving skills from business to music to whatever you do in life. Like if there's a problem, no one's coming to save you. Go fix it yourself. No one else is going to be able to make your music for you.
Exactly.
You got to make it yourself.
Yeah.
Like that producer can only do so much. It's not going to be you unless you put yourself into that song. And that was one mental barrier I had to defeat, because I thought I could just be the artist and then it would just magically happen.
No.
And then you got to learn, I got to create. And I like to produce and make my own, or I like to record myself and be my own engineer of a track.
Yeah. That gives you so much control of things too.
And I like to play with that while I'm creating the song. And that helps me figure out the song and write, like, because like if you got echoes on and you're playing with some voices, like it just comes a little differently than just writing it, because you can't hear it as clear when you're just writing it, compared to like you might change the whole vibe just because you found this one echo on a freestyle. It's like, oh, that's the song.
Oh, let's take it there.
Yeah, and then you can go dive into that rabbit hole for a while.
For real.
But yeah, so what's your message in your music? Or do you have like a central message, or is it each song different? Or like what's like when people hear you, what do you want them to think about you and your music?
That it's coming from a place that's true. It's coming from me. You know, there's no AI, there's no I stole this guy's bars, or like I take influence from things and motivation from things. You can be inspired through anything. You can be inspired by this little plant right here. It's just taking inspiration from things, and I think my main message would be is be inspired. That's the beauty of being alive, man. Seeing something hearing a song that makes you want to work out, you know? It's like, boom, oh man, this song's got me moving. There's beauty in inspiration. And I feel like if you can inspire or sway someone to feel a certain feeling with your words and your melodies and the song and the beat you choose, it's a beautiful thing. But it goes in any field. Just like if you're an athlete, if you're pursuing sports in any way, you can't be like every other player. You have to be unique to yourself and stay true to what you got, what makes you good, what makes you pop, what makes you stand out in the crowd. On the field, anywhere, in business, you the way you treat a customer, the way that your clients, the way you are with your employees, it's gonna lead you towards the direction the energy you're giving it. So if you're making art that's real, that you feel is worth putting out there, I mean, to me that's beautiful, and that's my thing, man. Just make sure whatever you're doing is what you really feel. Like I hate when people, they're in a field doing some job and they're constantly complaining
and miserable,
and being around them almost makes you feel like, dang, it lowers your vibration a bit.
Definitely, like being around negative people and people that aren't supportive and people that I don't know. I'm a dreamer, so like when I'm not around dreamers, it's really hard. Like, okay, I might be coming up with the craziest stuff, and I might not even try to do something, but them ideas are always flowing. And if like you're always every single thing I say, or if you're like, well, you're just here because of this, and everybody did this for you, and I didn't have that opportunity, or this or that, and it's just like, man, like
you don't need it around you.
That's the problem right there, is your mindset. Like I try to work on my mindset, so I'm not perfect.
No,
not even a stretch, because you still.
Yeah.
But like I feel like it took me a while, but once I figured out that no one's coming to save me, this life I can create. I try to follow God and like where He's want me to go, but like I can control a lot of my life's outcomes by like how I react to problems, how I react in different situations. And the sooner I learn that, the better it's been. Like learning at 23 years old the way you're going to be successful when you're 30, 35 is delayed gratification. And all your friends are partying and going and blowing their money on brand new vehicles or trying to do all this. And then you're like, I can't even go party because I got to try to keep investing this money. I got to try to keep building this company. And it's like, for years, you're not profitable. For years, you're trying to struggle. For years, like no one taught you how to run a business. So you're trying to learn how to run a business. You're watching YouTube videos. You didn't have the time to go to, you didn't do well in school, so you didn't go to college. Yeah. Like you're fighting all these different things and you're having to learn from like nothing and start from 0, 0, 0, 0. And everybody else just thinks it's all being handed to you. And everybody else thinks it's this dream. And it's like, you have to learn then that you have to invest in yourself and delay all the gratification tonight.
You have to plant your seeds. You can't plant a seed, come back next week and expect.
And you're constantly planting seeds, either good seeds or bad seeds.
Exactly.
And
you don't even realize it sometimes.
For sure.
And you have to pick out those bad seeds.
Because if not, they're gonna grow, sprout, and then like I always try to think of like 5-10 years down the road, and not all the time. And obviously you got to stay present, but like. When there's an important decision to be made, sometimes you got to take risk. Like even anything in life, you got to take that risk because if you're not, someone else is going to take that risk for you, and you're going to be controlled by somebody else. And I like to try to control as much as I can in my own life.
For sure.
And sometimes, like you're constantly throwing those seeds out. So if you're constantly throwing seeds out. So if you're not paying attention to the seeds that are growing. Like you could end up in 5 years from a seed you planted today and be on a whole different path where you don't want to be, which you can always turn it around. I do believe that
you can.
Any point in life, if you want to turn around, you can make the turn. But it all starts in your head, and the quicker you can realize that it's 90% of everything in life is in your head and your belief and what you think you can do and can't do, and the better you have a chance of being successful in whatever you're wanting to do. And success is different. And like, there's no one definition of success. It's not money. It's not fame. It's not. It's a different definition
to everybody. It's a different definition for everybody. Success. It comes in different forms. You know, today I feel successful because I came on a podcast and I'm here with iMAXX and I'm facing something that's made me, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta do a podcast today. Really? I've never done that before.
That happens to me every episode, and then I get glad I actually do.
But yeah, it's taking these risks. People say like, oh, you don't gamble on life, but if you don't take a little bit of a risk, there's no reward.
And it's hard. And again, like I don't know, I probably have problems. I definitely have problems. But, like, I have a hard time being around people that don't take any kind of risk. I have problems with everybody playing it safe because, like, I like to walk on the tightrope of life. And honest to God, if I don't feel like I'm about to fall off and lose everything, or if I don't feel like I'm pushing hard enough, or if I'm not making enough music, if I'm not living literally on that tightrope every day, not knowing what's going to happen next, I get so depressed. I get so dark. Yeah. I love the energy you get from not knowing what tomorrow, like you're going as hard as you can and you're going to fight no matter what happens. Yeah. Like you knock me down 20 times, I want to hop back up every single time. And
by doing that, it's almost like you feel like you're due for a win.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're due for one. I know it's coming. And it's just staying on your toes, man, and keep doing what you're doing, man. And that's the reason why I tell you, like I write every single day because the next 16 I write might be the one that leads me to the perfect song. And it's like, boom, And yeah, it's just, You put it perfectly, man. You have to stay on it every single day, man.
And like when you get knocked down or you don't feel like this, like that's where that mindset. And like you were talking about earlier, what were you calling that?
Resistance.
And
that's how Stephen Pressfield puts it in that book. I really recommend you read that book. I feel like
the War of Art.
It's so good. It's so good, and it really put things into perspective for me that I didn't even realize I was doing. And then I was like, oh man, resistance has been making me procrastinate. And you wouldn't feel this pull of dang, I need to do this. I need to get this song done. That urge, like you said, if not, you feel poor, you feel depressed, you You wouldn't feel that if there wasn't a reason behind
Right.
you wanting to do that, because you're supposed to do that. People who say, "Oh, I want to be a football player, a basketball player," but you don't see them out practicing. You don't see them taking shots, missing shots. They'll never be there. You know, they'll never get there. But if you're in there in that field, putting in the work, and you feel like you're due for a win, you have to. There's gonna be losses, man. I've had losses where I felt like I should stop doing this. Like, man, what are you doing? You're not even posting anything. You're not even that. But it's that resistance, man. And you wouldn't feel it so heavy if it wasn't for a reason why you need to be doing what you're avoiding. That's one thing. Sometimes when I avoid my writing or I avoid my work, I don't feel satisfied at night. Like, I go to bed and even when I do it, when I do accomplish it, I know tomorrow I have to face the same monster. I have to face the same resistance. But if you chug along and just keep going, you'll be surprised, man. Like, I never thought I'd be on stage. I never thought I would hop on stage. I hopped on stage again with no backtrack. I did it like the hardest possible way I could do it. But I did it and I got through it.
And definitely having all that practice.
Yeah, and that practice helps.
And I think that's I get lazy sometimes on the practice before a show. Cause so like right now in my musical journey, like my favorite thing in the world is to go make a brand new song. So it's been very difficult to finish a song.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important for me to get a very clean, good final draft or first draft ready. And because I know I need to go work on another song, but then that night's like, oh, you got to make something new.
Yeah.
And so, okay, let's go find a new beat.
Exactly.
And I have to make a new beat that night and a new song. And so like I'm working through the resistance of like, you gotta. So that's why I'm wanting to make an album. Mm-hmm. I'm wanting to come out with probably try to create like 20 songs in the meantime, and then try to build an album to 10 songs based off those 20 songs.
Got you.
And So I'm trying to leave a little bit of them undone. That way I have to go back, and then that final month before I'm getting ready to drop it, or 2 months before, I'm gonna try to spend a whole month on just I'm not gonna create, and I'm gonna force myself to not create a new song.
Ooh.
Unless something just magically pops up. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try to stay disciplined enough to where I'm gonna go hop on all the songs. Like I'm gonna play with them all.
Yeah.
Mix them. Try to narrow it down to try to build it up to the 10. And once I get those 10 songs selected to 12 songs, I'm gonna go in line by line by line by line and try to not to be too much of a critic on it, but anywhere where I know I need a fix, try to get that fixed.
Yeah.
And move on. I'm gonna try to mix this one deeper than I've ever went before. And I'm hoping it turns out good. So that's one thing. I just called it out on the podcast, and now I have to do it.
You have to do it now, man.
That's why I didn't give a date yet, but it's coming this year.
And I didn't want to push you for it. I wasn't even going to ask you what date it is.
No. But probably in some future episodes once I get a little further along.
For sure.
There's definitely an album, though. And stay tuned. There'll be more. But I don't know. And I love making projects. I like making singles, but like there's something about having
project.
And then you worry about like anyone gonna hear it, but like that's why I'm trying to tell myself right now, do it for the art, do it for what's calling.
That's
don't worry. Like if there's 40 people listen to it, if there's 3 people listen to it, if there's 100,000,
doing it for the art. Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people get discouraged from posting because they think, oh, there's only gonna be like 5 people hear this. Well, you never know. Like if you're trying to do your music for a message, like what if that one person out of those 5 people is the person that needed to hear what you were saying anyway?
Yeah.
So try to always like,
or like
just one person.
Or like you said earlier, if this song hits, you have a whole portfolio to go back to. You know, someone might be like, "Oh, who is this guy?" And then they can go back and tell me, like, "Man, this guy's been doing it for a while." And oh, this is nice.
All right, so we were talking about almost time for. Are you down to do Rap Roulette?
I'm down.
So I don't remember what I was gonna say.
So how's this Rap Roulette gonna work?
All right, so here are the rules for Rap Roulette. So the way Rap Roulette works is we're going to pause this in just a second.
Okay.
I'm going to get you to pick out, and we'll pause it after I pick, because I have to pause it to drop the beat back in, because it won't drop while I'm recording.
Gotcha.
And we're recording the vocals on Logic Pro. But I'm going to pause the music. Well, actually, while we're recording, I'm going to still have the music, and we're going to go. You're going to give me maybe 3 subjects.
Okay.
Maybe, or give me a subject, give me an artist, style, type.
Okay.
Give me something like that. We're going to pick a picture that we both agree on.
Okay.
Or you're the guest, so you can pick the beat that you want. We're not going to listen to the beat. We're going to download a free beat. It's going to be just a free beat that you have no idea what's happening. It's just Rap Roulette.
Rap Roulette,
We're
baby.
just spinning the chamber and seeing what
Boom.
happens.
Okay, I like it.
And then we're just going to play the beat. Whoever wants to go first, pop,
We'll
boom,
freestyle
boom,
on
boom.
it.
Just freestyle straight
like
off the
it.
top.
I like
and
it.
maybe we'll pick 3 beats, 2 beats, something
We'll walk
like that.
through
And
them,
just
yeah.
whatever happens. So.
Um,
All right, so now is the first ever Rap Roulette. And the beat's about to start right here. So whoever wants to go first, have it goes.
We haven't heard this beat at all.
Never heard this beat.
Hey, you feeling it?
Dreaming.
We dreaming.
Look, got my eyes focused. I ain't never gonna stop until the day that I drop. My mind is made up, I gotta make it. And if this world won't let me, then say fuck it. Up in the skies and I'm up in the stars, and I'll never come down like I'm at Mars. Elon Musk, here we go. Freestyle out the top of the dome.
I'm sitting at night trying to get these things right, but my mic don't check and these things get up on my neck. This stress got me feeling like I can't breathe. Baby, what's next? Thoughts and problems in my brain. You know I gotta get it. I'm insane on the track, baby. Why wouldn't they want me back? I got heat, I got everything right here. The stack is up. I'm dreaming.
Keep on dreaming.
What's the point of life if you don't dream? Max, what's the point of life?
Lately been daydreaming, seeking God's presence in my life, but I take that knife out my back that they've left me. I gotta keep on working, no regretting anything in my mind. Lately I've been passing time trying to get my mind right, trying to keep on writing these raps every night, trying to make it to the top of the game. I'm about to go insane, but I keep on dreaming.
All right, so that's our first beat on Rap Roulette. Here comes the second one.
Put another in the chamber. Let's go. Clip it. Hey, what we feeling on this one? What's it?
Lead it out.
Alright. Look, I got my shoe up in the game. Coca-Cola bottle, baby, my name. She got it up on flame. Tiene cuerpo de Coca-Cola. Baby got a bottle like a Coca-Cola. She got body like a Coca-Cola body. Body like a Coca-Cola bottle. She got a body like a Coca-Cola bottle. I can't stop staring, and now I wanna know exactly where you headed. And if I wanna go, baby, you got me on the ropes. I'ma take a swing, and if you gotta give it, baby, I'ma be your king.
How you really feel now? Girl, you in the field now. I'm about to deal now. I need your love, I need your hand, just hold it. I don't know what next moment brings, but baby, please, just hold on to me. No matter the deepest sea, no matter what it might bring. The nighttime, the rain keeps pouring, and I'ma keep on trying to give you my love to the
Baby got body like a Coca-Cola bottle, like a Coca-Cola bottle. Baby got a body like a Coca-Cola bottle, like a Coca-Cola bottle. I'm tryna sip, I ain't tryna slip, baby. If you put your hand on your hip, I'll dip, baby. You know I got flow, you know I got soul, you know I got things that I gotta let go.
Baby, I don't know by now that
she got a body.
Gonna stop right now, and we gotta keep going through the motion, go through the storm, girl. We gotta make it. Got me high like some cocaine, baby, make me numb the way she called my name. I gotta keep on going down this road, baby, just go with me. We never know how this could end up if you take this chance to invest in this romance, baby, please just see me for who I really wanna be. Cause lately I gotta keep my eyes on the clouds, cause I keep dreaming.
Came back with the dreaming on the next track, baby. I'ma get you back if you holler at me, and you know why I'ma take your heart away and make it feel a little better. Baby got body like a Coca-Cola bottle. She bad, She bad, baby, it is my love. Baby got me dreaming, dreaming. Baby's got dreaming, baby, yeah, dreaming. Rap Roulette, you know, we kill this shit on iMAXX, and you know we gon' do it again. If we got a baby, I wanna know if that Coca-Cola bottle got a owner. If not, I could own ya, I clone ya and make you for me. Understand, baby, you see, iMAXX, let them know, iMAXX, let them see.
Look,
Hey, yeah.
gotta make it to the top. I ain't never gonna stop until the day they knock me out. But that will be the day I drop 6 feet deep in the ground. They have to bury me to not resurrect my body. Cause I feel like I'ma make it. And nobody gonna stop it till the day I drop. Cause my dream keep on fading, but lately not. I gotta keep on pushing, I gotta keep investing. Cause this life is my one chance to make it.
Baby got body like a Coca-Cola bottle. Coca-Cola bottle. Hey, baby got body like a Coca-Cola bottle. Coca-Cola bottle.
There we go. That's the
two.
first
Hey, Rap Roulette.
ever live
Fuck with it, Max.
Rap
Tap me up.
Roulette. Yes, sir. Yes,
Let's
sir.
go.
Thank you, Mr.
Let's
X-Zela.
get it.
One more time. Tell the people who you are, where to find you, what you got coming out.
My
Let's
name
go.
is Alejandro. I go by X-Zela as my rap alias. If you want to check me out, I'm on Instagram. It's X_ZELA. If you want to check me out, I got a little thing going on right now. I'm posting a couple clips, so come follow me.
There we go. Thank you for joining the iMAXX podcast.
With love, Max.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
The iMAXX Podcast.